because the personal debt is through the roof. They're putting it all on credit cards, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
until that credit card shuts them down,
Yeah.
and they are forced to change their lifestyle, they're not. There's another reason I know. Disneyland just raised their prices in the heart of whatever we got going on, and it's still packed. Crazy. Crazy. So what has to happen is, a few minutes, what has to happen, at least in my dopey view, is people have to change their buying habits that will put the squeeze on profits that will cause people or businesses to lay people off. And we're starting to see a little of that. And when people get laid off, that will change their buying habits. Here, we'll talk about this in a minute. We might as well have it as part of our talk. Because that's going to change everything in real estate. Hopefully. Hopefully. But you know what? There's a lot of good news out there too. A lot of good news. If you're around to see it. Guys, if you haven't seen the movie Poseidon Adventure, you should go watch it. It's cool. It's old.
Oh yeah, that's way old.
Yeah, it's good. But a cruise ship that tips over after being hit by a tidal wave.
Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah, and they got to climb to the bottom of the ship to get out because it's upside down. And the song is "There's Got to Be a Morning After" is the ending as the credits roll. It's kind of like our world right now. You go from the cruise ship, living it up, high life, party, wave hits you. Whoa. Next thing you know, you're climbing through fire and water and death and destruction. And in the end, the sun shines.
That's what everyone refers to real estate as already.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Bill, you're funny.
totally great if you can get to the end.
There was
that's
a
good movie.
there was a Viking cruise that had that happen. We were going on a bunch of Viking cruises, and one of them got hit. They airlifted people off that boat. Holy cow.
Yep.
Scary.
Starts out fun, got a little scary, but you know what? I bet they got a bunch of credits for future cruises and they love that.
I'm sure they did. Not sure it was worth it.
Yeah. Now they got a good story to tell and a bunch of free.
Buy a rope wave next time. Let's roll the dice again.
Yeah, heck yeah. What's the chances you get hit by 2 tidal waves?
Yeah, I'm not that good of a swimmer. I'm not, not doing that.
Yeah. So, but no, I'm really excited about what's going on. It's cool. I think here's 8 o'clock. All right, let's start. We'll talk about this in a minute because I got some stuff I think is pretty cool. All right, let's go. Yesterday's yesterday, tomorrow's tomorrow. Let's talk about today. But I want to talk about something, some numbers here that'll give you some perspective on some things. 100, that's the number of deals my team has done. Oh my God, we finally got there. So yeah, 100 deals in this hard market is probably worth 200 in an easy market. So that's cool. Yay for me. 19%. That was what the mortgage rate was in 1981. So if everybody keeps saying, well, I bought my house, whatever. 19% in 1981. And the reason why it was 19% is because they could not break inflation. They had to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And it took 19% to break inflation. All right. So when you're looking, it went to 8% yesterday and people are freaking out. Right. There are long ways they can go. Jerome Powell, if he is committed, Paul Volcker was committed back in the 80s and he got it to 19%. And that's when it broke. All right. So if you think there's going to be a relief in interest rates, good luck. They got a long way to go, or they got a lot of room. And I think the reason why you see a break in it is notwithstanding some outside pressure, because I think nowadays you have a small cohort of people, Bill Gates, the guys at Google, whatever, that have an outsized impact on our politics, that can impact policy. But putting that aside, what's going to cause this stuff to come down is affordability's got to come back, because most Americans are on a fixed income. And when everything goes up as high as it has, and their income does not, because they're on a pension or a salary or a whatever, it's really, really hard on them. And that's most Americans. And they're calling their congressman and whatever and saying, I got to choose whether to pay the electric, the heat, or eat. And I don't like it. So I got to bring this stuff down. And so they keep raising the rates, but people keep spending. And I think the reason why they keep spending is, one, they got used to it because they had free money and free time during COVID. So they got used to that lifestyle. We've talked about this before. And so they paid their credit cards down, which was great because they gave them a lot of room, a lot of buoyancy in their finances. And when things got tight, well, we'll just put it on the credit card this month and pay it off. And then we'll just put it on the credit card and pay almost a little more than the minimum, but some. Oh, let's put it on the credit card. Now we're only paying the minimum, and their spread is starting to get there. So we're seeing consumer debt go to the moon.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous, very dangerous. And but they're still doing it. And we haven't seen unemployment go up yet. Matter of fact, unemployment went down. And so Jerome Powell has come out and said, we got to get to 2% inflation. And the way we're going to do it is probably going to be over 4% unemployment. We're just hair over 3%, I think, or whatever. I haven't looked lately, whatever the employment number was. It's got to go up. People have to get unemployed to stop spending. Profits have to start to drop, so businesses will lay people off, and all that stuff will bring prices down, right? Because if their profits are high, there's no incentive to lower prices. They got to drop profit, bring profit down to bring inflation down. And if it means 19%, get ready. You think real estate's hard at 8%, try playing when it's 19. It's gonna be hard. Okay.
2 questions. 1985, my first financed home was 15%. So it went down a little bit in 3-4 years. And then do you ever think we'll get back to the 2 and 4% markets again? Or are you going to think we'll lock in at 5 and 6 and make that the norm?
Who knows? Who knows? The norm is whatever it is, stretched out as long as you're willing to go back. So who knows? I mean, the norm to most people is 3 and 4 and 5. If you go back, 7-10 years, that's the norm.
Normal is just a city outside of Chicago, about an hour
right.
out of Chicago. That's it.
Yeah. So
Never heard of it.
I'm not an economist. I don't play one. I don't even know if I know one. I think I do know one. At any rate, I think what happened from a common sense standpoint, at least from my common sense, what happens is inflation gets so high that Joe and Mary Blow feel the pressure because they're on a fixed rate or a salary, right? They're on a pension, they're on a salary, and their salary is not going up as fast as inflation. So they're sucking it. Now, if you're a 1099 employee that can make as much or as little as you want, you can adjust accordingly and make more. And if you're good, you'll make more. We make more as inflation goes up and forces houses to go up. We get a raise just by showing up, right? But not everybody's in that. Most people aren't in that. So they feel the heat. So they got to bring inflation back down. The way you do it is make things more expensive so people stop buying. That forces businesses to lower the price. Okay. So what's going to happen is it's going to get so freaking expensive and housing is a massive part of the CPI. All right. It's like 38% or whatever the percentage. So that's a big target for them. They got to get that down. And if they got to go to 19%, well, get ready. So get ready for housing to get higher and higher, more and more expensive. Jeff and I were talking about it. It is cheaper to rent than it is to own. So people that would normally buy are going to rent. And this goes back to what we've been saying for a long time. Be a landlord. If we're rolling into renter nation, be the landlord. Pays a lot. Okay. So start buying is my point if the numbers work. Okay, so, and then once inflation starts to come down, then what's gonna happen is, and this is the beautiful thing for us, when prices start to come down, all these buyers that are up against the dam are gonna start running in. And it's gonna be like a Who concert in Cincinnati, and a few people are gonna get trampled and die, which is gonna be tragic for them. But everybody else is gonna enjoy the show, right? It's just the way the world works. And it's gonna be great because these buyers are gonna buy up these properties, and these sellers that have been waiting to sell, to buy up or trade down, are gonna sell because there's properties to buy up or trade down. And then what's gonna happen is, sellers gonna say, wait a minute, now it's cheap and everybody wants them and have multiple offers. Boom, prices are gonna go crazy up. So, what was the term during inflation? Buy the dip, buy the dip. You get all these 18-year-olds buying the dip on freaking Robinhood, right? The only dips it turned out was these young kids that didn't know what the hell they were doing. They got burned. Not all of them. Some of them made a lot of money, but now there's a movie about it, right? Dumb Money or something. Anyway, different story. So my ramble here is this. Here's the lesson. Here's a lesson I'm pounding out to my people to pound out to their people. When things are stuck, and they're stuck right now, right? And I know you're going to hear the one guy, Trevor or whatever, tell you, oh yeah, we're crushing it. Yeah, whatever, right? It's stuck. Buyers aren't buying, sellers aren't selling, it's stuck, right? And what happens when things get stuck, tension occurs, right? Think of a sporting event in overtime when the score is tied and the next score wins. It is tension everywhere, right? And that's what we're feeling in our market. I have realtors call me, what's going on? What's going on? Like, I don't know what the frick's going on, but here's what I do know. Nothing's going on. And as longer nothing goes on, the more sellers wonder what's going on. Buyers wonder what's going on. Realtors, mortgage lenders, everybody starts wondering what the hell's going on. And the tension goes crazy, right? And what people need when tension is high is somebody in their ear going, it'll be all right. We're good. We got this. It'll be all right. Don't worry. We got you, right? And if you're that person, I got you, man. We're watching this. We're monitoring. We're good. We got you. When the doors open, they're going to call you up. Is it time? Is it time? It's time. Let's do it, right? Away you go, right? But if you're not that person, if you're over at the coffee shop, I wonder when it's going to come back. I don't know. I don't know either. I wonder when it's going to come back. I don't know. Have you talked to anybody? No, I'm not talking to anybody. I don't know. What would I say? I don't know what you say. I don't know. I don't know. You want another coffee? Yeah, let's get another coffee and sit here for 5 more hours. Right? Don't be that person. Right? Be the person who's on the phone talking to people. You feeling it? I'm feeling it. You feeling it? I'm feeling it. Here's what we're seeing. Here's what we know. Get ready. It's coming. Right? Jeff sent a thing on Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley came out there down. What are they down? 50%, Jeff?
I don't know. Someone's at my front door. I'm sorry.
All right. It's probably the credit people taking his car.
Probably a collector.
No big deal. Grab your gun, Jeff. They're coming for you. But Morgan Stanley and Goldman, if you guys are watching the banking thing, Morgan Stanley and Goldman are down a lot. And the reason why they're down a lot is they play in mortgage-backed securities. They bought a bunch of long-term debt at this low rate, and they're like a bank. They're getting crushed. They're paying out more than they're collecting, and it's killing their stock. And it's killing them. Right? Bear Stearns did this. They went out of business, got bailed out. SVB, Bank of Silicon Valley Bank, did this, and they got crushed. They got bought out by what, Bank of America or whatever. Anyway, that's what's going on, guys. That's what's going on with them. They're M&A, mergers and acquisitions. They're the volatility player. They're getting crushed. So if you see the banks are getting crushed, that's cool. They're going to get crushed because there's no IPOs or the big deep stuff. That ain't happening. You know who the banks are winning? Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Who else? I don't know. Those type of commercial consumer banks are doing great because the smaller regional banks deposits are moving from them to these bigger banks, and they're paying out very little on these checking account savings rates. They're paying out very little, but the government's allowing them to write down a ton. Bank of America is crushing. If you go look, Wells is crushing. Okay? All those folks are crushing, but the regional banks are taking a little bit of a hit. So whatever. But at any rate, this is short term. But back to that report, this guy said, Morgan Stanley is blowing the horn, "Brr, iceberg, brr, it's coming, right? And they're saying it's probably gonna last until fourth quarter, Q4 2024. Right? So you saw, Jeff? That's what they wrote.
Yep.
You can go read it.
Yep,
I'm good
yep,
with Wall
yep.
Street.
But it talks about kind of balancing your inventory against prices. So if inventories go up, just tell relative US, if inventory goes up 5%, prices should come down 5%. That's what they're using as a logic. So
Yeah,
keep
but
an-
they're in this mess. They're
keep
trying
an
to
eye on
figure
your
it out.
inventory. And then one of the benefits for everybody, message is, and it's happened here in my neighborhood, what John's talking about, talk to the people. A person in my neighborhood lost his big job, got another job, less income, had to sell, and he rented. Everything we just talked about is happening around you. Your job is to find those people and list their house.
Guys, here's the world. COVID hits, people go home. I'm out of here. I'm going home. I'm not working, but can you see this? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so people go home, right? They leave the work environment and they go home. This is the work environment, right? Office. Okay, they leave. But the office needs workers. So they say, you know what? I'll increase your pay. Come back. I'll let you work from home. Come back, right? All this occurred. So they incurred a whole bunch of costs, right? Their cost to keep an employee or to hire an employee went to the moon. Their productivity, I don't care what anybody says, you don't work as hard at home as you do at the office. They know how I'm believing it. So their costs went up, their productivity went down. They're sucking it, right? They're sucking it, which is why most companies are losing money right now. If you look at the stock exchange, it'll show the S&P or whatever's up in the Dow Jones is up, but that's only because there's a handful of companies that are carrying the whole party, right?
Mhm.
Most of them are losing right now for this reason. And so what happens is now that it's starting to moderate, they have to get rid of this person because when unemployment hits, they can go hire somebody else at half that cost. So this person's going to lose their job, get hired back somewhere else at half the cost. But they're going to have all the expense of their new property that they bought or owned or whatever. Their new car, in their car payment's only $1,000 a month,
Hmm.
right? So that's
Jeez.
this is what's coming. And when
That's
this
a lot.
comes, prices of everything will start to come down. In theory. All right? You got anything else on that, Jeff?
No, it's happening, not that I'm an economics expert in Canada, but the same thing's going on in Canada. I had a guy from Canada called me, lost his job trying to sell me his timeshare. Examples. It's happening everywhere.
I have a nephew, lives in Denver, moved there from Phoenix, graduated in 2021, graduated college, tech guy. Yay. Got hired on, this must have been 2020, 2 years ago, whatever it was. Graduate college, tech guy, coder, right? All excited, moves to Phoenix, they don't get jobs, they get hired, right? They get a contract. So they
Yeah.
get hired for a period of time. So he's in there working from home, coding at night as he eats his Cheetos and drinks his Mountain Dew and, does his thing. And then his contract ended and he moved to Denver with a new company. Yay, more money. Right, all night coding and eating chips. And then he just found out he's not going to be renewed. Right, he's now unemployed and he's looking around and there's no renewal. And the renewals that are there are half because the tech industry went through their recession a year ago. They cut back. And the reason why tech stocks are so up is because they cut all their fat, all those people they were paying. Now all those people got unemployed, but then they went to find other jobs and everybody else was cutting their fat. Ain't no jobs. And if there is a job, it's at less money. So they're driving Uber now. So it's coming. All right. We're in the real estate recession because they need it to be a recession.
So talk to people and find those people that unemployment is your listings for the future.
We talked about it. Stack them, talk to people, stack them up. Because when the doors open and the party starts, if you've ever been to a Keller Williams event or a Buffini event, I'm sure they keep the doors closed so you can't go in there, right? That's one, to give them a chance to get ready, but it's really to create the excitement that this is a place people want to be. And when they open those doors and everybody rushes in to get all the seats in the back, it's amazing. But they do. Hey, I got a line. I'm holding up the sign. You see it? I mean, what the hell? So you can get in there and hear the same message? I mean, when you get up in front, is Gary going to throw out a guitar pick and you're going to grab it? What the hell? But that's what people do.
Concert.
It's just, what's that, Julie?
Styx concert.
Yeah, right, right. One day I'll tell you guys about how I got Rick Springfield's sweat towel. What? Yeah. Story for a different time.
Oh, cool.
Story for a different time.
All right.
That little girl, she wanted it too, but I was bigger. Rick Springfield.
No.
Anyway, that was a
Kidnap.
highlight of my life at that point. It was weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it still is. I don't know.
I got the lover boy guitar pick.
That's right. That's right. Live it up. All right. So anyway, different story. So that's what's going on, guys. The win. Here's the win. Let's get back to our world. The win in all this is if you can talk to people when they're feeling anxious and give them some sort of comfort, right?
Mhm.
Some sort of, there's an end to this, and the end looks like this. And if it makes sense, they're going to think you are it. You're going to be Rick Springfield, and they will beat people up for your towel. So be that. All right. And it's as easy. I wrote about it today if you want to go look at it, but the message was this: get back to the basics, show up every day. I haven't heard that one yet. Show up every day. Work hard to get better every day. Better communication. That's right. Better communication with everybody. Kevin was on here talking about he's trying to hold deals together. That's a communication thing, holding deals together. Talking to people. Are you good? Are you good? Do you need anything? Are you good? Are you good? Do you need anything? And keeping that thing tight, right? That's what that is. Get really good at that. Show up every day. And here's the thing. What's the thing? Outwork everybody else and you'll be fine. And how great's that going to be when you look around and everybody, it's like when you get done, Julie, you've run, Mark, you've run, when you get to the race and you're done, you get done, and you look around at all the other done folks, and there's this camaraderie. You made it, I made it, we made it, look at us. And you feel good. You feel good. That's what you got to be. Get in there, work, work, work. And guys, the greatest thing is there is no barrier to entry for what you have to do. Preview, free. Talk to people, free. Study the market, free. It's just work. Just work. That's cool, right? If I wanted to play basketball, I'd have to grow, right? If I wanted to be a supermodel, well, I'm good there. But you get my point. So that's what's going on. Get out there and work. All right. Julie, what do you got? You seen anything different out in your world?
Well, I mean, it's the same. Everything's done. Listings are increasing and transactions are decreasing. But what I'm seeing in talking to people, and this is, I think, important, is a lot of people are worried. A lot of people are anxious. There's, just as you're saying, there's, whether people know it or not, there's pent up demand to sell. There's a lot of people who want to sell, but they're either worried about their jobs or, they're worried that they can't find something. So
Yep.
it's the
Yep.
same.
Here's what's going to happen, guys. If you lose your job, and it's a high paying job, and it happens, Jeff said he got cut from Kmart because he was making too much money for him. And, he was upper middle management, cut that guy out. We can save some money there.
Mhm.
Put a robot in, whatever. AI can take his spot.
Mhm.
When that happens and you get hired back at half the cost, now you got decisions to make. Do I sell my house even though I'm at a 2 or 3% interest rate
Mhm.
and take my You know, instead of making 400,000, I'm only gonna make 350. Take that money, pocket it and live on it until I get right? Or do I keep the house? Maybe that's what I do. If I keep the house and rent it out, I don't know, it gets really funky. And what people are gonna do is they're gonna say, shit, give me the money. I'm gonna sell my house, give me the 350. Then the inventory is gonna go up and somebody bigger is gonna move down into it, or somebody smaller is gonna move up into it because you have inventory. And it's gonna create,
There's other factors too that are going to cause people. Most people are not going to choose to sell if they have the 2-3%. It's the fact that, as we were just talking about, people are continuing to spend at the same rate that they were while their income is decreasing. And so now what we're starting to see, and you can look these numbers up, is people are maxing out their credit cards and they're starting to miss payments on cars and credit cards. And when you run out of space on your credit card and start missing your payments, you've got all this equity in your house. Okay, let's fix the credit card and the car problem by selling them. The problem is cars, you know, for a long time were hard to come by and getting more and more expensive. Now that's already started to come down because people aren't buying them because they're going, well, that's a big purchase. I'm not going to buy that. So it's starting to happen where even if the unemployment's not where Powell wants it to be, people's spending has gotten them to where they're, you know, hitting the ceiling. And they're going to have to make decisions because they can't keep up with the credit cards. When you run out of income, and people have run out of income and now living on their credit cards, they're eventually going to have to make decisions. And the next thing's going to be take the equity out of the house. They can't get the equity out of the house because their debt to income's too high and their income's gone down.
Yep.
So they'll have to sell.
so here, good point. Here's the thing, guys. Just imagine you're at a concert or an event that you're trying to, and you're in the back. Say you're new, you're in the back, and everybody in front of you is all these other agents who've been around forever. All right, and the doors are closed. All you got to do is just start tapping, excuse me, I know this guy, excuse me, and just start working your way up. And the way you do it is by talking to the owners and the buyers. Excuse me, because you just got to survive until 25. And every time you say, excuse me, or you talk to somebody, you're moving past another realtor that isn't doing that. And you're going to find yourself, when this thing turns and the doors open, you're going to be right in front, right? Or if you don't, you're going to be in the back and you're going to get whatever crappy ass seat you just left over, right? So, excuse me, I'm coming, or yeah, pardon me, excuse me, right? You know the type, I'm just right, yeah. They end up at the front. The way you do that is by talking to buyers and sellers and owners. And you'll move right past all these other realtors that are just waiting their turn. Don't wait. You can get some nasty looks, maybe an elbow. Just, smile. Oh, bless your heart, and keep going. Right. Okay, that's what I got today, guys. Let's go to work and have some conversations. All right.
All right.
You got
Have
anything in
fun
there,
today.
Diane? 3, 2, 1. Sorry. Bye.
Yeah, it's good. We went a long way today, time wise. Okay.
Bye-bye.
But